Hi everyone, this is Kate O'Connor reporting for AVweb from Sun and Fun 2023. A lot of changes happening this year at the show, not the least of which is a new management team. Here's CEO Conrad to tell us more.
So it's our 49th annual Fun Aerospace Expo. It's been a great first day. Obviously there's some kinks and some things we're tweaking for today. But it's, we've put in a lot of changes this year, a lot of planning into this year to really enhance the customer and our guest experience here, whether you're driving in, you're in an RV, you're camping, or you flew in, right? And especially for our flying guests, because obviously that's what we're all about here with over 500 exhibitors and vendors this year. Well, one of the big ones, especially for our flying community, is the island. And so really the impetus for that was, over the years, I was the airport director here for 12 years. And, I had an opportunity last year as well when I first came over. Light still had 30 days, the previous, president and CEO, so I had 30 days, to watch and during the event to listen, reach out, talk to our vendors and our friends and our guests. And so a lot of the changes that we've implemented this year have come out of that, right? And just trying to pay attention, again, want to have a great, great experience for everybody that visits. But with the island specifically, if you know the site and how it's laid out on the east side, there weren't a lot of services for, now granted, general aviation camping was on the west side, but home built camping, vintage camping, GAP, or general aviation parking, there were not a lot of services. So this year with the island, we moved general aviation camping to the east side. So all the airplanes are all together. So the island is basically a hub of all the activity and services that's available to our flying guests. So we have full food and beverage, breakfast, lunch, dinner, starting at 7 a.m. goes till 8:30. We have the Pilot Welcome Center is out there. We have the island store, so our campers can, whether it's sunscreen, which you need here down in sunny Florida right now, bug spray, whatever it is, even tents and sleeping bags, all in the store. There's also Uber and Lyft drop off there. So before, our guests had to go schlep it quite a ways to get on and off the airport. Now they can, ride or, get an Uber, get picked up, dropped off. We also have public Instacart. So Instacart, if you're an Instacart customer, you can order Publix and they'll bring it right here to the island as well. There's also a new tram depot there as well. Now that we have all the aircraft and all these people on the east side of the airport, we have to be able to move these people around and get them where they need to go. Another big thing, we had some difficulties this morning because of the fog, but we, hired a consultant to help us manage our parking lot. So once we got through the fog this morning, everything rolled pretty nicely. We have new online ticketing system. So that's been very helpful, new QR codes, technology to scan, especially for the parking lot. That's key, especially as we get closer to the weekend. So with the prepaid online parking, it's $10 online, it's $20 if you show up at the gate and you haven't done it, because we need to, so we can be efficient and quick, to put people into their parking positions. All these changes we just discussed, the big thing is next year is the 50th. Right, so we want to put in these changes because we're not going to be perfect this year. Not, there's going to be some complaints, and I'm all for it. We want to hear that because, again, if we don't know, we can't fix these things. But that's why a lot of these changes we're putting them in place this year. So we can be ready for the 50th, because we're going to have a big party to celebrate this great organization. For any organization, business, whatever it is, to make it 50 years. Right, especially a volunteer organization too. 2,500 volunteers here helping us put on a great event. When I ran the airport here for 12 years, it's just like running a business. You're doing it every single day. You're running the airport, you're running your business, you get to touch it, you get to massage different pieces, get as efficient as possible. We unpack, operate for 6 days, and put it away. Right, and it's very, very hard when you think about 800 acres that we're operating on, all the flying traffic, all the logistics, all the vehicles coming and going, the camping, the RVs, moving people around the site with our tram operation. It's a logistical ballet, right? When we get it right, it's a ballet. When it's not, it's kind of clunky. But like this morning, there was some clunkiness to it. But, through the day now, we fixed those things, and now everybody's on board. And everybody went home for a year, right? For lots of our volunteers that are here for 10 to 14 days, they go home for a year, and then they come back. And then we just change stuff on them, right? So they got to get used to it again and all that. But again, these changes are important again for the 50th, because we expect to have a huge crowd and be ready to host all our guests. So there's several communities, obviously, that we serve. We have our local community, and we've been, obviously communicating what's happening here. We've been very, very active on social media. So I would encourage folks, get on our Facebook page, get on Instagram. Also, go to our website at flysnf.org and sign up for our newsletter. right? Because leading up to this event, so several months out, I was doing a video a month and we're updating everybody on what's going on. And then I think it was about 2 months out, we started updating. I was doing a video once a week, just all these new things, trying to get the communication out there. And also it's an opportunity to get feedback because we want to hear it. I actually, myself, and you'll see me posting on social media as well because I want to answer questions and I'm closest to it, right? But I want people to feel comfortable, know that we're listening to them and we're paying attention because we are. And that's important, for those folks, but our local community, for 50 years, and think about the support that we've received. I worked for the city of Lakeland, so I was close to city government, and I know a lot of people, and I've been here for over 13 years, and this community definitely believes in what we're doing here. We're very fortunate. This airport is very healthy and, has done some great things, which has also impacted and helped us. And I will say this, there has been over the years, unfortunately, with Amazon coming here, and there's been a lot of talk about what's going to happen and Amazon, what they're going to do, and they're going to take over the airport. I'm just going to tell you right now, I was super close to that as the airport director. In their lease, they are required to get out of their building for up to 2 hours per day when the jet demonstration teams are here, right, for example, which means they have to shut down their building, cut flights, and other things like that. Also, Saturday night for our night air show with our fireworks, they're actually closing down, canceling flights for our activity, right, for our great show here. And they're aviation people too, so they love it. But we are, over the next year as well, we're going to be working on our master plan for Sun and Fun, right? We need to start planning for the next 50 years. So this airport's getting busier and busier. There's discussion, about a new runway coming in as well. So I was close to that as the airport director. What's driving that new runway is not Amazon, by the way. That is actually all of the general aviation activity that exists at this airport. When I arrived in 2010, there were 64,000 operations a year. This last year, they did 143,000 operations at this airport. Amazon only makes up 8,000 of that. So when you think about, and something else I want to be able to explain. So the parent company for Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo is the Aerospace Center for Excellence, right? And so our net proceeds from what we do during these 6 days go back into our youth aviation educational programming, right? So we have Skylab downstairs. We're going to bring every 5th grader in Polk County through our Skylab, our STEM-based activities downstairs next year. That's 7,500 5th graders, right? We have our scholarship program with the Central Florida Aerospace Academy Foundation, where we provide 100% scholarships to kids that go to our school or live in this county, to get their private pilot certificate for free. And so all of our programming, Lakeland Aero Club, we got on an international airport, we have a high school flying club with the grass strip and their Piper Cubs that fly around to do their thing. But, back to the runway, that runway is, this airport needs it because of all of the activity, right? The crosswind is 5,000 feet. Once all that flight school activity starts, it's a racetrack pattern, and we don't even use the other runway. So that other runway will actually increase, obviously, the capacity of the airport, but it'll also help our event, for the future. So our planning is, we are going to be here for 50 years. We're not going anywhere. So you will see buildings over time, but also this runway is 10 to 12 years out. This is something I've heard over the years. Oh my gosh, if I'm going to be here next year, 10 to 12 years out, even before we get to the runway. But we need to do our part and plan. So we're going to do that over the next years, get with our exhibitors and vendors and our stakeholders and our volunteers and my team and, others to, put together a very robust plan to make sure this event's here for another 50 years.